Bada bing, bada boo.
Out of nowhere, a $22 book hits Amazon's #1 bestseller spot for fictional books. It's titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. Kim Porter is the late ex-girlfriend of famous musician Sean Diddy Combs. She's the mother of 4 of his 7 children, and she passed away in 2018. This book is released September of 2024, just like right before his arrest. The main allegations spewed in the books are Diddy had asked Kim to use an intimate object for his bottom, and she refused, which resulted in him allegedly beating her. That's what's in the book. There are other excerpts from the book that state that Kim witnessed Diddy having intimate relationships with underage male stars in the industry. The opening page reads about Diddy. He was so charming, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a devil, and I fell for it. This story must be told despite the fact that it'll hurt my children. I cannot hide it any longer. Sean Combs must be stopped. Who even published this? Because it's not Kim Porter. Kim Porter passed away in 2018. This book is released in 2024. The real author's name is Chris Todd. He describes himself as a producer, author, investigative journalist. He publishes this book stating that he didn't make this all up. He said he never personally even knew Kim Porter. He claims that he received a flash drive that belonged to Kim after her death. He just says, they said they had her flash drive. I didn't ask too many questions about how they got it or where it came from. If somebody put my feet to the fire and said, life or death, is that book real? I have to say, I don't know, but it's real enough to me. But now that the book has gone viral, regardless of validity, it has people intrigued by Kim Porter's relationship with Diddy. She is often said to be the one that was the closest to him, his best friend. Netizens are wondering, was her relationship with Diddy anything like what Cassie has experienced? And how did she pass away? Diddy first meets Kim Porter at Uptown Records. Back then, Uptown Records is the place to be, and Diddy gets hired. He's working with the likes of Mary J. Blige, Jodeci. It seems like everybody fucking hated Diddy at Uptown Records. Allegedly, the other executives would flick him off as he walked down the hallway to his desk, and they would call him Satan behind his back. Well, there's some people that like him, like Kim Porter. Kim Porter worked as a receptionist at Uptown Records in New York City, where Diddy meets her for the first time and says it's love at first sight. Her lips, her eyes, her mouth, her shape, her energy. I was just thinking, I wish I had a girl like that. She was a bohemian mixed with Georgia peach hospitality. He would later say, she was my muse. You know how they say it in the movies? By the time they start dating, they've got this beautiful blended family. Kim Porter has Quincy from her previous relationship with Al B. Shore. Diddy has a 1-year-old son, Justin Combs, that he had with his previous partner, Misa Hilton. And they actually become one of the most iconic celebrity couples during that time. According to one source, some tried calling them Black Barbie and Ken. April Lampros, she had received an invite in the mail. A Father's Day celebration for Diddy after the birth of his first biological child, Justin Combs, that he shares with Misa Hilton. So this is before he's dating Kim Porter.
So this is the 90s?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear friends, join us in celebrating the original Bad Boys' first Father's Day celebration. It's a Father's Day party. April is a student from FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology, and this is all awkward because she is allegedly seeing Diddy romantically, and Diddy just had a child with Misa Hilton, and the whole thing is weird.
Okay.
April Lampros states in her lawsuit that he was just love bombing her constantly, bringing her gifts, bringing her to the studio to impress her. Even a month after the Father's Day event, she was invited to see performances by Usher and Notorious B.I.G. thanks to Diddy. And at first it all seems sweet, but then he told her that they have to keep their relationship a secret because she alleges, quote, he did not want anyone to know that he was seeing her because she's a white woman. The lawsuit goes into detail about 4 alleged SA incidents. The first, April alleges she went to meet with Diddy at a bar in Soho. He introduces her to a female friend of his. They all left for a hotel nearby, and she just had this feeling of uneasiness in the hotel room. She remembers laying in bed when Diddy forced himself on top of her. She thought that perhaps the first incident was maybe she misremembered. Then it happened again, the second incident. She alleges that this happened in a parking garage near his apartment in the city. And as they're headed towards his car, he just grabs her out of nowhere, forces her to kneel on the concrete in the parking lot, unzips his pants, and forces her to perform orally. She said that she could see the parking attendant witness this horrific assault, but Diddy allegedly did not care. Then the third time, she alleges at this point, Diddy and Kim Porter had started dating. She alleges in the lawsuit, again, this is an allegation, that she was called to his apartment where Kim Porter and 2 other people were there. He insists that Kim Porter and April take ecstasy. She said he essentially forced her to take the pill. He was forcing his hand so far into her throat, she almost gagged. And even afterwards, he's checking under their tongues like a psych ward nurse. She alleges in the lawsuit that Diddy forced the 2 of them, April and Kim, to engage in intimate acts while he sat watching and self-pleasuring. Towards the end, he, quote, sat close by masturbating for some time before pushing Kim Porter off Miss Lampros, April, and forcing himself inside and essaying April. April said that she just went completely numb and emotionally checked out. And it wasn't until Diddy kicked her out a few hours later that she felt all this disgust and shame. And she alleges the crazy thing is, even after all of this, he had the audacity to invite April to Kim Porter's birthday party. The 4th time, she alleges, was after he broke up with Kim Porter to date J-Lo. And while he's actively in a public relationship with J-Lo, he forces her to his apartment and tries to essay her once more. She manages to leave. Other key allegations in her lawsuit are Mr. Combs does not like the word no. Now, one significant detail, or I guess insignificant detail, would be a better description. In the lawsuit, April alleges, quote, Miss Lampros recalls Mr. Combs being adolescently in both length and width. The summer of 2001, Diddy is flaunting Kim Porter on his arm, getting praised for raising $2 million for the New York City education system, winning BET Awards, MTV Awards, getting nominated for Grammys. That same year, though, another incident occurs. Then 25-year-old Talia Graves says that she was panicked.
Who's Talia Gray?
She's just a woman who woke up tied up on a couch in Diddy's studio. And the only reason she was even meeting with them is because she was dating one of Diddy's employees, an executive at Bad Boy Entertainment. Diddy called her specifically to come and talk to him about her boyfriend's performance issues. She just wants to help her boyfriend. So she goes to meet with Diddy. They urge her to drink a glass of wine. She drinks it, and that's it. She knocks out, and now she's waking up, and her arms are tied behind her back. According to the devastatingly explicit lawsuit, Talia screamed out in pain, but Diddy continued to violently, anally rape her. He physically overpowered her, smashing her head down on the pool table. During the brutal attack, Talia vomited into her mouth and on the table. At one point, she involuntarily defecated. Diddy was undeterred. He wiped himself off and applied more lubricant, and without any acknowledgement of Talia's distress, proceeded to essay her. The next thing she knew, she woke up on the couch to, allegedly, Joe Sherman slapping her across the face, forcing his private parts into her mouth. And when he was done, she quickly grabbed her clothes in fear that Diddy would come back and just ran out of there. She told her boyfriend, the executive, but allegedly he tells her not to do anything because you're going to ruin my career. But this doesn't come out until 2024. The alleged essay takes place in 2001. And now, in 2003, where we are in the story, 2 years after Talia's assault, alleged assault, legally speaking, Jane Doe is 17 years old. That means she's in the 11th grade. And she was, according to the allegations brought forth in her lawsuit, just offered a ride on a private jet. Like, I don't know many people that would turn that down, especially when the private jet is being chartered by P. Diddy. In the lawsuit, Jane Doe alleges that she met with Harvey Pierre. This is the eventual president of Diddy's company, Bad Boy Entertainment. He was one of the top executives from the get-go. Jane Doe meets with Harvey in this lounge in Detroit, and she doesn't know who he is, but he keeps telling her, do you know my best friend is Diddy? He calls Diddy. She hears Diddy on the phone, and over the phone, Diddy allegedly convinces her to get on a private jet to come see him in New York. And as they're getting ready to leave, she alleges Harvey Pierre asked her to come into the bathroom with him, where she alleges that he was smoking cocaine from a Pepsi can, and once he was done, he took off his pants and ordered her to, quote, suck it, and forcibly shoved her head down. Now, following that, she alleges in the lawsuit that they drove to the airport, boards this private jet, flies into New York City where there's 2 black SUVs waiting for them. They go to Daddy's House recording studio, which is owned by Bad Boy. So it's 4 of them in there. Diddy, Mr. Pierre, Harvey Pierre, and a third unknown person. She doesn't even know the name of this person. Eventually, Diddy leads her, allegedly, into the bathroom in the studio and allegedly assaults her over the sink. She states she did not consent, and according to the lawsuit, he told her that he could not orgasm and asked her to squeeze his nipples as hard as she could to get him off. And her next memory was waking up to see the third assailant starting to essay her in the restroom. Once he left, Harvey Pierre allegedly came in to essay her, and she recalls having a hard time breathing because of how he was forcing himself onto her. She doesn't even remember anything else, but vaguely, she's just on a plane back to Michigan. But this is what Jane Doe alleges happened in 2003. Around the end of 2007, Diddy comes home and Kim Porter is gone. She leaves. Unbeknownst to Diddy, while he's out of town at the BET Awards show, kitchen table, nursery furniture, the cars, everything is leaving with Kim. After 12 years, Kim Porter finally walks out on Diddy. 12 years on and off. She's done being his romantic partner. I mean, she will always be the mother to his children. They will co-parent, but she is so done. A little over 10 months prior to her moving out, Kim Porter was pregnant with Diddy's twins. And then one day, Kim's friend calls her. And she sounds uncomfortable, I'm sure. And she tells her, basically, Diddy had cheated on her with another woman. And that woman had recently just gave birth to Diddy's child.
Do we know who?
Sarah Chapman. And she gave birth to Chance Combs. She was born just like 5-6 months before the twins were born. The worst part is he didn't tell her until after she gave birth. So she's giving him the time to fess up, own up, because he has a literal newborn baby. So just tell her. Sarah gives birth to Chance Combs July of 2006. The twins are born December of 2006. She says, he told me he may have gotten himself in a situation and he may have fathered another child outside the relationship. Kim said she already knew and responded, really? Well, I already knew, and I'm glad you decided to be a man. I was like, dude, this is so whack. I can't even respect you right now. And for me, once the respect is gone, I'm not even listening to you anymore. Which obviously, there's a lot of discourse here about him having 3 mothers to his children. Diddy does argue, interestingly, on the Wendy Williams show. Keep this in mind because Wendy Williams comes back again in episode 4 of this Diddy series. He argues that he met the mother of his children, all 3 of them, Kim Porter, Misa Hilton, and Sarah Chapman, in the same year. He says, I met all of them in the same year, so I've known them in the same amount of time. These are people that have been my friends, which is a crazy statement.
Yeah, how is that better?
I met all of them in the same year, so I've known all of them the same amount of time. We were friends. No.
He has 3 sons and now 4 daughters, the youngest being Love Combs, was born in 2022. His first son, Quincy, who he adopted, that he has with Kim Porter, he is acting. He recently starred in the Netflix special Holiday Calendar. Justin is Diddy's first biological child with Misa Hilton. Then there's Christian Combs, the first child with Kim Porter. Christian is taking more after his dad, trying to get into music. Musically, he goes by the name King Combs. Then you have Chance Combs, Sarah Chapman's daughter. I watched a lot of interviews with Chance Combs in there, and honestly, she seems really smart. Like, she just turned 18. She's very beautiful. It seems to have a good head on her shoulders. Then you have Delilah and Jesse, the twins. They were born 5 months after Chance. It seems like all the 3 of them are very close in age, but also just in bond. They're currently aspiring to be full-time models. And then you have the youngest, like maybe 2 years old right now, I think, Love Sean Combs, a baby girl that Diddy shares with a woman named Dana Tran. So particularly with the girls and the youngest kids, there's rightfully a lot of sympathy out there for them from the public because likely they don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And if anything, I'm sure it's definitely not easy for them now with, unfortunately, the whole situation. And I don't know how good of a father Diddy was. They state that he was a very good father, but...
Wow.
And I'm sure he believes he's a great father, which is why his son, Christian Combs, is getting sued. December 28th, 2022, this is what happens at Diddy's yacht parties. It's a yacht called the Victorious, a luxury super yacht built in 2021. It is a $117 million floating vessel that is nearly 300 feet long and sleeps 12 guests across 6 staterooms. But at most, if you're throwing a party, you can have 24 guests and 30 crew on board at once. Grace is a 25-year-old woman on board as crew for the yacht Victorious. She thought it was going to be like a cute family vacation. But Grace noticed something very strange about the Combs' time on the yacht. There's a constant rotation of strangers and other A-list celebrities that are coming on and off board. And strangely, it appears that anytime a girl steps foot on this yacht, they get intoxicated after one tiny shot of alcohol. It just doesn't seem normal. People on the yacht would take one shot and just be sprawled out on the deck, unconscious. Grace didn't know exactly what's going on, but she has a sneaking suspicion that the drinks were laced with something. And then it happens. by Sean Diddy Combs' son, Christian King Combs. Grace was 25 at the time. He was 24 at the time. Grace alleges in her lawsuit that one night Christian Combs came via tender. So tender is a small boat that takes people from the boat to the land, from the main yacht to the land, and back and forth, like a little water taxi. He comes middle of the night. She's on the night shift. So there's only like 2 people working the whole boat at night because most people are asleep.
Yeah.
He seemed already high from narcotics and alcohol. She claimed that he was ordering her to pour him shots while he was playing Me and You by Cassie. Yes, by Cassie Ventura. This is in 2022. This song would have been over a decade old. And this is his dad's ex-girlfriend. Anyway, that night, Grace alleges, she noticed Christian being more attentive to her, which she didn't like. It didn't feel appropriate. And he keeps insisting that she take a shot with him, which is not the most uncommon thing. Although she didn't want to, she thought, well, if I just take one shot, he's going to let me go back and let me do my damn job. But no, she takes the shot and he keeps asking her to sit beside him, help keep him company, which of course is not in her job description, nor does she want to. She remains polite and insists on leaving, but he's getting more aggressive, grabbing her arm violently, insisting more shots, more shots. This is nighttime. She barely has any crew members. She can't find help right now. And she's starting to feel the effects of this one shot. She thought it was spiked. Grace alleges Christian starts touching her on her private areas over her clothes and tries kissing her on the neck and face. And everyone starts blurring around her. She feels drugged. Christian and his attorneys have denied the allegations and have called the lawsuit lewd and meritless. But a lot of netizens are having a hard time believing that when there is an alleged audio clip transcribed into the lawsuit. The audio clip was recorded by Rodney Jones, a producer, Lil Rod, that was brought onto the yacht to help create Diddy's newest album that was released in 2023, ironically named The Love Album. And Christian says, yo, it's shot o'clock. Grace responds, I'm not doing shots, Christian. Everybody, we gotta take a shot. I'll just put the ledge. No, take the whole thing. No, you take it as well. Christian tells her, no, take the whole thing. Grace keeps saying, I'll take the whole shot if you take it as well. So it's likely she said this because she thought it was spiked at this point. So it's like, you take the shot from the same bottle then.
Yeah.
And he said, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not taking nothing. Please, take the shot. And she asks, are you tricking me?
That is terrifying.
Yeah. And he responds, take the shot. Grace tells him, I can't. I'm swapping out. I can't do it. I'm sorry, darling. You're the best one on the ship, though. What do you mean? Who's going to replace you? Who's going to replace me? Grace continues, excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. If you want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that. Later, Grace states again, well, you can take your hand off my ass for the first thing.
Wow.
This part wasn't recorded, but she recalls later that night, Christian kept asking her to find him a place to sleep. So she leads him to the cinema because sometimes people would crash there. So she leads him there and sets up a spot for him to sleep, which is her job. And he allegedly blocks her from exiting. She states he became aggressive and started cornering her, groping her. She was pushing him back. He took off his clothes and revealed his private parts while allegedly forcing her to try and get her to go down, pushing her head down. She fought him off and finally runs out of the cinema, and immediately the next morning she complained to the yacht's captain. But the captain did not care. What's wilder is Grace alleges that Diddy's employees, his chief of staff, who is right now being compared to Ghislaine Maxwell. She found out about it, allegedly told Diddy, and instead of Diddy being a good father like he claims to be, and set the record straight, go to the police, figure it out, discipline Christian, turn him in, whatever it needs. He just pays off the captain to keep him quiet and not corroborate Grace's story, if you will, and eventually she was terminated by that captain. So with that, Christian Combs has been in the news again because just 2 days after his dad's recent court hearing, the one where they set his trial date to May of 2025, 2 days after that, he was spotted partying with his girlfriend, pouring shots into her mouth. Which is just not a good look because...
Like at a nightclub?
Yeah, but again, not a good look. Others have pointed out that his girlfriend's nails are painted white. And some just think it's just not very tasteful or smart for him to be partying. It does appear that Grace likely has a strong case considering there's audio from that night, but that brings us to Rodney Jones, the producer that gave Grace the audio. He has also filed a lawsuit against Diddy. His lawsuit alleges that he was brought on to produce Diddy's 2023 album, The Love Album, off the grid, and his life has fallen apart since. For over a year, he worked to help produce 9 songs on Diddy's album. He states that Diddy always wanted him around to record everything in case he has a spark of creative genius, I guess.
Been working on an album, the Love Album, Off the Grid by Diddy, and it's Grammy nominated right now as we speak. I should be celebrating, but the truth is I'm not. Taking this album on has required so much time. Diddy will request certain works to be done and tell us don't go to sleep until it's done, and the truth is we'll be up for days.
He would live with Diddy for months, spending holidays with him, leaving his family to work on this. And he claims because of Diddy's insistence of having everything recorded, he now has hundreds of hours of Diddy's footage and audio recordings. And many of those allegedly depict them engaging in seriously illegal activity.
But that's so fascinating. Why would Diddy want him to do that? Maybe his head's getting way too big.
I think so. The alleged criminal activity, according to the lawsuit, include drug usage and distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, ketamine, GHB, marijuana, and mushrooms, displaying and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms, Diddy providing laced alcoholic beverages to minors and sex workers, Christian Combs drugging and assaulting a woman. He also alleges in his lawsuit that Young Miami of City Girls, her cousin, essayed him, that actor Cuba Gooding Jr. essayed him and assaulted him. Throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was the victim of constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs. A brief list of allegations further include Diddy would shower and walk around naked while forcing Rodney Jones to work in the bathroom, which is already odd. He states that Diddy promised him to win a Grammy for Producer of the Year if he engaged in gay intimate relations. He further alleges that he was forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts to pleasure Diddy. It's unclear if it's the same setup of a freak-off, but it sounds kind of like it. He once states that he woke up dizzy and confused. He was naked, looked around, and he was in bed with 2 sex workers and Mr. Combs. It's unclear what happened that night. The lawsuit states that at parties, Justin, the eldest biological son that he has with Misa Hilton, and Sean would have minors under the age of 16 present. He alleges Diddy would force them to all drink the De Leon tequila, which he believed to be laced with ecstasy. His lawsuit has lots of pictures. So I'm leaning towards the belief that he does have a lot of footage. And I'm leaning towards the belief that he is working with the feds. Now, side note, he alleges that Justin Combs would partake in those freak-offs. He has also included pictures of Diddy kissing who he claims are underage women at his party. I say alleged, the picture is there, but it's unclear if they're underage. The lawsuit continues, it is no secret that Mr. Combs had specific bottles of alcohol designated for females and other bottles designated for his staff. Mr. Combs would even have sets of Moët champagne bottles for his artists and a set for women. And all the staff would have to walk around with pink cocaine, which is a mixture of ecstasy and cocaine in their pockets, because Diddy would freak out if he didn't have pink cocaine within arm's reach at all times. That's what he alleges. He claims Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person that has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties. Due to his treasure trove of evidence he has in his possession, Mr. Combs believes that he is above the law and untouchable. Rodney Jones also alleges that Mr. Jones was forced to watch as Mr. Combs displayed his guns and bragged about getting away with shooting people. Mr. Combs has made it clear that his head of security had the power to make people and problems disappear. Lil Rod would say about Diddy, he's a monster. He will do whatever is necessary to get exactly what he wants. He doesn't take no for an answer.
And on top of that, these guys are trying to steal my publishing. I can't go for that. So I'm fighting back. He's a fighter, but I'm going to put in this fight. I got to do it for myself, my rights, and most importantly, my kids.
He said he's paranoid about what could possibly happen to him. He's hired security to protect him. He said during a recent performance, my anxiety was out through the roof. I saw different guys backstage I didn't know and I got scared. I wondered where the security was. It made me very uncomfortable. It's not a good feeling wondering if someone is there to attack me. November 15th, 2018. 47-year-old Kim Porter is found dead in her home. Her goddaughter found her in the bed at around 8:30 a.m. She freaked out, called 911. Authorities rushed to the scene. They see Kim laying motionless in bed. She was declared dead 11:40 a.m. Diddy says the day Kim passed, he, quote, jumped into mommy mode. That day turned my world upside down. 3 days before she passed, she wasn't feeling well. She had the flu. And she sent the kids over to my house so they wouldn't get sick. And one night I was checking on her and she was like, Puffy, take care of my babies. He held a memorial at his home where Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, French Montana, and other high-profile celebrities were in attendance. At her funeral, he would say, "Some people in your life is going to be irreplaceable. Kim, we're going to miss you so much, but I'm not going to miss you too much because I'm not going to let your voice inside me stop talking. I know you like to talk to me a lot once you get on those rants, and I just want you to know that I'm going to be listening."
What is Kim's official cause of death?
Her cause of death is considered natural. Of course, there are questions of how someone just passes away like that, seemingly out of nowhere. She was healthy, suddenly caught pneumonia, which if you have pre-existing conditions, if you are of older age, if you have low immunity, if you have other health complications, pneumonia could be fatal, but it's not considered.
It's treatable, right?
Yes, is the netizen sentiment. It's just not typically known to be this very terrifying, fatal condition. It was later determined that Kim Porter had died from lobar pneumonia. The manner of death listed on her autopsy is natural. Detectives told the media that police do not suspect foul play. In addition, Diddy has been extremely cooperative. Some netizens were agreeing with this sentiment, pointing out how prior to her death, she seemed like she was in a good place with Diddy. But a lot of others don't think that she died of a natural death. But who are we? We're just people on the internet. Some have stated, you know what else gives you pneumonia? This is a recent conspiracy lately. Accidentally inhaling baby oil. There are lots of conspiracies that there is no way that Kim died of pneumonia. Gene Deal, the former bodyguard, said, "That case needs to be reopened, man. That case really needs to be reopened." He alleges that Kim was found dead with bruises throughout her body, and interestingly, he claims nobody knows to this day where Kim Porter's phone is, which is odd. He's asked, "So you feel like she was murdered?" I feel like there was a lot of foul play in her death. A lot of foul play.
I mean, at least so far, it seems like everyone around them are very vocal about how shady Diddy is. I haven't really heard anybody who's backing Diddy's story. Have you seen many reports?
No, but that has been a question of why aren't people backing Diddy? One party are Kim's children. They have released a joint statement, mainly in regards to the book that has been circulating. They took to Instagram to state, "We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. And anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. The cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories." Kim Porter's family, friends, and ex-partner have all denied the book, stating it's all a cash grab. Amazon eventually pulls the book, stating, "We were made aware of disputes regarding the title and have notified the publisher. This book is not currently for sale in our store." Kim's former attorney has also spoken out, saying she would be turning over in her grave right now. Kim never even gave an interview about her private life. She would never do that to her children. She had plenty to say, but she would never do so publicly. There would be no amount of money that could make her write a memoir. She would never do anything to hurt Puffy's reputation because she has children with him. It is impossible that that is her journal. It's comical. She never even spoke that way. She never wrote that way. She was articulate. She was classy. She would never write something like that. There would be no need for her to do that. She also states, "I guarantee she was not part of those freak-offs. I think she would have cut off his penis if he ever proposed that to her," which kind of goes against what others have stated, but it's up for you to decide what you believe, right? And this is part 2. There is a lot going on right now, a lot of new developments and discourse every day. Stay tuned and be safe, and I will see you in the next one.